What does thought leadership mean in B2B marketing? When most people hear the phrase thought leadership, they think of someone famous, maybe a best-selling author, or they think of a keynote speaker, or a social media influencer, someone with a huge following, and because they're visible, people assume that they're a thought leader. But that's not actually how I define thought leadership in B2B marketing. Business owners aren't looking for celebrities. They're looking for solutions. They're looking for someone that they can trust, and they're looking for someone who understands their problem and has a track record of helping businesses like theirs succeed. So in this episode, you're going to learn what thought leadership actually means in B2B marketing. Thought leadership is becoming the trusted authority that businesses consistently find when they're searching for answers. And that's become more important than ever. Now, before we go any further, let's clarify one thing. Not every business needs a thought leadership strategy. So if your business is entirely transactional and customers don't need much education before they buy, there may be more efficient marketing strategies for you. But if people are buying expertise, like if you're a consultant, a coach, an advisor, some type of trainer, service providers often qualify, even a SaaS company where customers need education and guidance to be successful, then thought leadership can be one of the most valuable assets in your business. Your ideal clients are already searching for help. The question is whether they're finding you. So let's talk about why businesses would invest in thought leadership instead of traditional marketing. Now, traditional marketing interrupts people. Advertisements interrupt, commercials interrupt. Now, sponsored posts, they interrupt. So you're pulling someone away from what they were already doing and asking them to pay attention to you. And because people know that they're being marketed to, they put their guard up. They become skeptical. Trust starts very, very low, and you have to overcome objections. You have to convince them and prove yourself. Thought leadership works differently. Instead of interrupting people, you're helping them. And instead of demanding their attention, you can earn that. Instead of showing up uninvited, you show up precisely when they are looking for answers. So hopefully you can see how completely different this relationship is. Think about what happens when a business owner encounters a problem. Maybe they're struggling with hiring, or they're trying to increase sales, or they're looking for a better software. Maybe they're having a problem with employee motivation, or a profitability problem. So what's the first thing that they do? Well, they search. They go to Google, or they go to ChatGPT, or they search to find a YouTube video that can help them. So they're not searching because they're bored. This isn't a moment where they're looking for entertainment. They're searching because they need help. And this is the precise moment that thought leadership becomes important. And when you're the one that they find with helpful advice, then trust starts building right away. The business owner doesn't feel marketed to. They feel helped. So thought leadership is powerful. In the past few years, we've seen some big changes. Many experts worried that ChatGPT would replace them. Well, that's not what happened. AI has given us better answer engines. And instead of searching with short keywords, people now describe entire situations. They explain their business, they explain their challenges, they explain their goals. Sometimes they dictate paragraphs using voice to text, and it makes it so much easier as experts to know what our dream clients are asking online. Business owners are giving us much more information about what they need help with. And I'm not talking about creepy stuff like how Facebook knows everything about you. Much more simple than that, Google keeps a record of the questions that are asked online. So we can find the exact wording your dream clients are using to fix their problem. The experts now who create content answering those questions are making it easier for Google, YouTube, and ChatGPT to give answers to those people searching. So for you, the goal is no longer to rank for keywords. The goal is to become the best answer to these questions. But most expert businesses are not doing this. Instead, they're creating social media content that they hope will go viral. And the more effort they put into their content, the more frustrated they become. And because it doesn't bring in clients, they think they just need to be more dynamic or optimize it better. So let's return to the conversation of questions and answers. You want businesses searching in your category to find you consistently. So not just find you once, not occasionally, but consistently. So if they search one question and they find you, then they search another question and they find you again, a third question, they find you again. Like, how does that person now feel about you? You start to become familiar, right? Do they remember your name? Yeah, they start to see your name and recognize it. How likely are they to watch your content when they see you all over the place? And in those instances, do they feel sold to? So do you see why this strategy is so powerful? A simple way to look at this is category ownership. Category ownership is one of the most valuable assets a business can build. So if your competitor shows up for one search, then another competitor shows up for the next search, and then you show up for a third, you're simply one option among many. But if businesses repeatedly find you at the top everywhere they search within your category, you become the obvious choice. Now, I want to be clear, visibility alone isn't enough. You still have to deliver. So the value that you provide really does matter. Your expertise matters. Your track record matters. Business owners are smart. They do sales themselves. They're not looking for the most famous person. They're looking for someone that they trust will help them succeed. Thought leadership doesn't replace expertise. It amplifies expertise. It allows more people to discover it. That's why thought leadership has become such a powerful strategy in B2B marketing. Not because it's going to make you famous or get you followers, but because it helps you build trust before the first conversation. It helps you generate referral quality leads at scale. And ultimately, it helps you own your category. So where do you begin? Well, it begins with personal branding, and there's 3 parts to personal branding. You've likely only been taught the first part, so I invite you to take my next episode seriously. I'll link to it right here. It's called What is Personal Branding? If you want to become a thought leader to businesses, that episode is your next step. I'll see you there.